What's good, my people? Welcome back to EMGM Sport. It's me again, your boy Enzo. I'm back once again. Let's talk Deontay Wilder. Now, after his knockout loss to Zhang, we all thought that would be the end of Wilder. We thought he's going to walk away into the sunset, retirement. He's made a lot of money. He doesn't need any more money. We thought that is it, the end of it. But however, there are rumors that Deontay Wilder wants to come back. He feels like he's got unfinished business in the heavyweight division. And looking at his last two performances, yeah, especially against Joseph Parker, he looked like he was done. Joseph Parker dominated every single round, and he looked like he was gonna knock Deontay Wilder out in the 12th round. So we all gave Deontay Wilder the benefit of the doubt. He was out of the ring for a while, so we all thought, you know what, it was a one-off. He had a night, a night to forget. Anyone can have that. Champions have had that in the past, so people gave him a chance when he went against Zhang. But again, the performance, instead of improvement, getting better, it actually got worse, and he ended up getting knocked out. And he looked terrible. He looked out of shape. I know, you know what I mean. I know I'm talking about heavyweight here, yeah. Like Wilder just looked out of shape, man. Skinny legs, chicken legs, whatever people want to call it. But he did not look like the Wilder that we know. His demeanor just wasn't there. His head did not look like he was in the right place for that fight. So hence why a lot of us, especially me and, boxing experts, coaches, ex-pros, etc., they all thought that that would be the end of Deontay Wilder because, what more can he really do? He's been a world champ. He's achieved everything that he imagined he could, you know what I mean? He could dream of because he started boxing so late. So we all thought that's done, but nah. Rumors are that Deontay Wilder feels like he's got unfinished business in the heavyweight division and he wants to make a comeback. Now, he's targeting basically AJ or Francis Ngannu. Now, I can really say this, and I don't even have no insight. I have no connections in the inside of boxing, etc., etc. But even me sitting right here, yeah, I could tell you now the AJ fight is not gonna happen. Deontay Wilder is not gonna get the AJ fight. It's not gonna happen. That train has since left the platform. Do you know what I mean? That's water under the bridge, done, sealed. Completo is not happening. Do you know what I mean? Right now, the skill gap, the levels and everything, AJ is just so ahead of him. I don't see that fight ever happening. But the Francis Ngannou fight now, that will be a very interesting fight. Francis Ngannou's got a fight in MMA, a PFL coming up in October against heavyweight champion Pereira. So that's a tough fight. Francis Ngannou, if he comes through that, yeah, Francis Ngannou, the confidence that he's gonna have, his name's gonna be back up there. He's gonna be, do you know what I mean? He's gonna have the confidence. And of course, Francis Ngannou himself said that he's not done with boxing. He wants to come back. And I'm sure with Turkey Al Sheikh, Riyadh season, he can definitely make that fight happen. Now, the big question is, if Deontay Wilder was to meet Francis Ngannou, if that was going to be Deontay Wilder's next fight, is Francis Ngannou, who wins that fight? That's what I really want to talk about today. And for me, looking at that fight, looking at the performances from both fighters the last time we saw them in a ring. Now, we know Francis Ngannou got viciously knocked out by AJ. Yeah, it was a vicious knockout. Everyone for Francis Ngannou after his great performance, yeah, let's just say, because Francis Ngannou is coming from MMA, coming from the UFC, we all thought that Tyson Fury, who was the world heavyweight champion at that time, was going to walk all over Francis Ngannou, toy with him, and then knock him out. That wasn't the case. Francis Ngannou put a very great account of himself. He actually knocked down Tyson Fury in the third round. So he put up a great performance, and a lot of people actually thought Francis Ngannou won the fight, or at least, yeah, at best, a draw. Like he did, no one felt, yeah, after that fight, no one felt that Francis Ngannou lost that fight. So Francis Ngannou gained a lot of credibility, a great popularity in boxing, and he gained that respect. Do you know what I mean? Taking Tyson Fury, who knocked out Deontay Wilder, yeah, like multiple times, yeah, and beat Deontay Wilder, who's probably once the most feared man on the planet. Tyson Fury defeated him. So for Francis Ngannou to take in the distance, listen, that was a great achievement. Some people might say Fury had an off night. He didn't take Francis Ngannou seriously, etc., etc. Listen, you can make all the excuses in the world, but Francis Ngannou still went in there and handled business. And me personally, I thought he won that fight. Go back, watch that fight, Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. I think Francis Ngannou won it. I think he landed the heavier shots. So I think Francis Ngannou won it. So Francis Ngannou, after that fight with Tyson Fury, we all thought going into the fight against AJ, we thought, listen, he's had one fight, he's had a taste of it. We thought he's gonna go in there and he's gonna give AJ problems, especially AJ having his confidence problems, mental issues, etc. So we thought, you know what, this might be quite tasty. This might be a potential banana skin for AJ. But you know what? As soon as the bell rang, AJ absolutely wiped the floor with him, and it was a vicious second round knockout. You know what I mean? It looked terrible. Do you know what I mean? And Francis Ngannou found his level. Like he knew, you know what? There's levels to this game. Do you know what I mean? Anthony Joshua absolutely wiped the floor with him. So again, we thought that was the end of it. We really thought, Francis Ngannou, he tried, his luck in boxing, hasn't worked out. He's fought, probably two of the best heavyweights out there, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. He lost both. He's made a lot of money, more money than he ever made in the UFC. So we all thought, that's done. But he also wants to come back. So looking at the performance from Francis Ngannou, looking at the last two performances from Deontay Wilder, like, how do we really assess these two fighters and where do we really put them? For me personally, if we're looking at skill-wise, there's not much difference in it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, listen, we have to give a massive respect to Deontay Wilder. He's been the heavyweight champion of the world in boxing. Francis Ngannou hasn't won a boxing fight yet, so we can say anything we want about Deontay Wilder, but he's been a heavyweight boxing champion. And he's beat some credible opponents as well. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if you look at his resume, there's a lot of, do you know what I mean, journeymans out there, taxi drivers, bus drivers, whatever you want to call it. No disrespect to those professions, but a lot of the opponents that Deontay Wilder fought, they're not really credible, apart from maybe Luis Ortiz, who gave him some tough fights. But you still have to respect Deontay Wilder for getting in the ring and winning the belt. So skill-wise, Deontay Wilder is not known as the most skilled. And that's not just me saying it. Boxing experts, coaches, ex-pros, current pros, they all look at Deontay Wilder and the assessment of him, he's not a great boxer. He hasn't got the boxing skills to beat the very elite boxers. Hence why we've seen him struggle against Zhang, lose against Zhang, lose against Parker, lose against Fury. Whenever he stepped up against much better, credible opponent, he's lost. So in terms of skill-wise, Deontay Wilder is not that great. Francis Ngannou, on the other hand, he's an MMA fighter. So he's had to kind of like learn boxing, learn the moves, learn the steps and everything like that. Although he did well against Tyson Fury, again, he found his level against Anthony Joshua. He made a few mistakes, switching to southpaw, standing square, and he got caught, he got knocked out viciously. So skill-wise, you just give a slight edge to Deontay Wilder, but it's not much. Honestly, it's not much. It's a slight edge, and for me personally, it's not that much. And if we look at the knockout power here, which both fighters obviously possess, yeah, this is where the it gets very interesting in this fight. If these two were to ever meet in a ring, for me, it's all about who lands that first right hand, because we know Deontay Wilder has got dynamite in his hand. He can detonate that bomb at any time, and that's Deontay Wilder. Like, if Deontay Wilder can land that right hand on Ngannou, which he probably would, because Ngannou stands right there, he's in your face, he's going to stay in the pocket, as we saw against Joshua. If Wilder lands that, it's good night. On the other hand, it's the same exact thing for Ngannou. If Ngannou finds that right hand, we already know he's got that power because he knocked down the former heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, knocked him down in the third round. If Ngannou can land that, again, Deontay Wilder will go to sleep because Deontay Wilder got knocked out by Zhang. Zhang is got a powerful left hand. So listen, Ngannou, I think he hits harder than Zhang. So if Ngannou was to catch Wilder, it's night as well. So it's just gonna be a night of who can stay disciplined, who can hold their composure, yeah, who can take the instructions better from their coaches, who has the better preparation leading up to the fight. Do you know what I mean? And if you get all these combinations right, I feel like Francis Ngannou, yeah, he can pull that off, Francis Ngannou can pull that off. I just feel like if you look in terms of confidence-wise, yeah, Deontay Wilder his confidence will be lower than Francis Ngannou because Francis Ngannou, he's an MMA fighter. No one's expecting him to win these fights. Deontay Wilder, he's been the former heavyweight champion of the world. So there will be a lot of pressure on him. And we've seen Wilder in his last two performances, he just hasn't performed. And he looks a shadow of himself. Do you know what I mean? He looks a shadow of his former self. He looks like his confidence is shot. He switched trainers with his Scott Malik. Is it Malik Scott? Whatever the guy's name is. But he just hasn't looked the same. You know, Deontay Wilder is now giving poems, speeches, you know what I mean? Talking about world peace and everything. Nah, man, I like the Deontay Wilder when he was all about bomb squad and, do you know what I mean? A bit of that aggression, a bit of that, do you know what I mean? A bit of that need. We had all that, but since he decided this new reformed Deontay Wilder, like, I don't know, man, something's happened. It's just not the same. There's something really, you know, psychologically just not right with Deontay Wilder. So if he does fight Francis Ngannou, I feel like Francis Ngannou, especially if Francis Ngannou wins his MMA fight. If Francis Ngannou was to win the belt coming up in October against Pereira on the PFL, if Francis Ngannou was to win that via knockout, yeah, Francis Ngannou will have all the confidence in the world. He'll be rejuvenated. He'll forget about the losses against Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder, Francis Ngannou will be highly motivated to knock out Deontay Wilder, and I think it can. I think it can. And if Deontay Wilder was to lose against Francis Ngannou, surely that'll be the end of him. There's no coming back from that. Come on, let's be real. You lose against Francis Ngannou, who's never won a boxing fight yet, even though he's been in there with two of the best. If you lose against him, you get knocked against him, done. I don't see where Deontay Wilder comes back from that. So it's going to be very interesting. Me personally, I wanted Wilder to retire. I just don't feel like there's nothing else he can really achieve. I don't see him challenging for the belt anytime soon because I feel like there's other fighters who are ahead of him right now. Zhang, Joseph Parker, you got the, you know, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois. You've got even someone like a Francis Bakole. I believe is way ahead of Wilder. And now imagine Wilder fighting Francis Bakole. I mean, that would be murder, especially with the power and stamina, cardio that Francis Bakole possesses. So I don't think Wilder wants any smoke with Francis Bakole. So yeah, man, I feel Francis Ngannou versus Deontay Wilder, I feel like that's going to be a great fight. Turkey Al Sheikh, Riyadh season, you know they're going to make that happen because these guys are all about making big fights happen. If Deontay Wilder wants some type of redemption, some type of journey back, a road back, do you know what I mean, into the heavyweight division for him to rebuild himself, what a great way it is to do that, to go back in there in the ring, beat Francis Ngannou, even though Francis Ngannou has not won a boxing fight every time he stepped up, but still, Francis Ngannou is a big name when it comes to combat sport. And that might just be a way for Deontay Wilder to get his confidence back. You know what I mean? Redeem himself, you know, rejuvenate and give himself purpose to try and climb back again. Even though, personally, from a personal point of view, I think that train's gone, man. He's done. I think he should retire and he's done. But listen, we'll never know. But it's really interesting. You know, we'll see what happens. But definitely, Turkey Al Sheikh can make that fight happen. And I would like to see that. Francis Ngannou versus Deontay Wilder. Let's make it happen. Because Deontay Wilder, let's be honest, in terms of the rankings in a heavier division, I don't think it's even there. And I feel like there's other fighters out there that will just play toy with him and just knock him out at this stage where he's, especially given his age. I think he's 39 years old. So I just don't see him coming back. But a fight against Francis Ngannou could be another chance for him to redeem himself. But we shall wait and see. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that's the right fight for Deontay Wilder taking on Francis Ngannou? Although a dangerous fight, but it's another way for Deontay Wilder to come back, make some money, and make a big statement by knocking out Francis Ngannou. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. I'll really appreciate that. Also, don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. I'll really appreciate that. Thank you very much for watching EMGM Sport. It's your boy Enzo. Until the next one, peace.